Hello, Internet, and welcome back to the Story Nook. Today, we are going to be reading a news article, and this is an update to the news article that I read earlier in the week, well, last week, a couple of days ago. And this is also, I specifically grabbed the one from Tampa Bay. There was one for Yahoo that might have newer updates, or at least it says it was posted later. But we have updates. And I found out about these updates from a video that I watched at 2 a.m. It is now 12:50 p.m. my time. So let us go ahead and jump in. Missing beehives return to 84-year-old Florida beekeeper after story goes viral. And it did indeed go viral. It reached a tiny little random artist in Georgia as well as a writer. And I read random shit for my Story Nook channel. So grab your water, your tea, whichever it is you want to grab, and we will continue forward. Richard Marquette lost 20 beehives in July when someone mistakenly cleared his property, taking away his primary source of income from honey sales. And this is once again written by Adam Walsler. It was published on the 21st, 2025 at 10:54 a.m. To give you some kind of like updates, and it's updated at 9:16 p.m. the same day. I am reading this on the 22nd, and it'll probably go up straight away because I did not read more videos ahead, as many as I thought I did. And I'll try to do that today. I did a lot of cleaning this morning, not so much making content. And then there's Sonic Crossworld SpongeBob event, so I've been doing that, if that tells you what I've been doing. Homosassa, Florida. An 84-year-old Citrus County beekeeper has been reunited with most of his stolen beehives after his story went viral, generating more than 2 million views and prompting volunteers to help return the insects that serve as his primary source of income. Richard Marquette discovered someone had removed 20 active beehives from his property in July, taking away his main source of income. And we can watch this full report, which I watched on YouTube earlier. I'm not going to play that here. Joseph Dinnick admitted to arranging for the hives to be moved, blaming the incident on confusion over property lines and promising to return them. But he didn't follow through. Mr. Dinnick, Mr. Joseph Dinnick, you said you would return them. You did not follow through. That's a problem. I can't figure out why they won't bring them back, or at least pay me for the bees or whatever, but I haven't been able to get anything, Marquette said. Things changed after Marquette's story was broadcast and shared across multiple platforms. And this is what happens when you get the word out. You can bully people into kind of doing the right thing. I mean, we bullied Sega and Sony into getting rid of the ugly Sonic design. The story generated thousands of comments and caught the attention of beekeepers throughout the Tampa Bay area. Last weekend, I-Team investigator Adam Walsler received a call from a Pinellas County beekeeper who said Marquette's bees had been located and would finally be returned. And this is Mr. Marquette. So happy. In the news report, they said he was like a young boy on Christmas. And you can really see that. And it says Richard Marquette celebrates return of his missing hives. As a truck loaded with beehives pulled up to a dark country road, Marquette like a kid on Christmas morning. It's great. I'm excited to have the bees and all the people who worked hard to get them back for me, Marquette said. The beehives arrived on a flatbed trailer weighing an estimated 2,000 pounds. They were retrieved from two undisclosed Pinellas County locations where they spent 114 days. So they had these two beehives, and we don't know if all the bees are in these hives. But, like, you got them from two different locations. That is sketchy. Volunteers from Noble Nectar Prairies in St. Petersburg, who had nothing to do with the hive's disappearance, volunteered to return them. The volunteers were decked out in white suits, gloves, and helmets as they carefully unloaded the precious cargo. Marquette said 14 of the 20 hives who reported missing made it back. That means there's still 6 hives still missing. So he's got 14 of his hives back. So we do not know the health and condition of these hives and the bees within, but he's still missing 6 hives. But it's still good news that he got some of them back. But I want to stress, he's still missing 6 of his hives are still missing. He feared he might never see them again. Hundreds of supporters reached out. Well, it certainly was the only way that we got noticed, Marquette said, when asked if he had a feeling that putting his story out there would prompt someone to come forward. Marquette's story was shared across newscasts, social media platforms, including Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, reaching millions of viewers worldwide. People have called me and been supportive, and it's probably several hundred people have called me on the phone and wished me good luck and praying for me to get my bees back. And I'm sure grateful to get what we did get back, Marquette said. But his situation is no joke. Marquette went on medical leave from Walmart after an injury and depended on the income from honey sales to get by. I sell my honey for $20 a quart, Marquette said. Each hive can produce 20 to 40 quarts of honey, making the theft a significant financial blow. His attorney, Adam Lyons, set up a GoFundMe page to help Richard make up for his lost income. Okay, so they did link the GoFundMe. I'm going to put that here, and I'll put this article and the link to the GoFundMe in the description and in the comment section as well. But definitely it'll be in the description. It'll be like the first 2 links. Because I do know I have several links. I have like my link tree. I've also got the form where if you guys want me to read anything, be it a news article, whatever, you can send that through that Google form and I will see it and then I will probably read it. I've been checking it like weekly to see if anyone puts anything, but I'm so tiny, so nobody fills out that form. At least not yet. I will get bigger, I swear. The Citrus County Sheriff's Office determined Dinnick, who bought a lot next to Marquette's property, was responsible for the missing bees. A report stated there was a miscommunication and the land clearing company mistakenly cleared Marquette's property. Let's not forget, they damaged the man's property. The report said Dinnick admitted instructing a friend to remove the bees and expressed his willingness to have them returned. And yet you did not until you got overwhelming pressure because the story got out of your tiny little circle. But didn't have them returned. And the sheriff's office closed the case, which is more concerning. Sheriff's office, a theft has occurred and property damage has also occurred. That case should not be closed, but whatever. When contacted on November 3rd, Dinnick said a friend of a friend moved the hives, but he didn't know where they were. He later wrote in a text message that he liked to handle the matter legally and asked not to be contacted anymore. I hope that they have a bad conscience because they should never, ever have left my property, Marquette said about the people who had his hives on their property. The identity of these people remains unknown, and that concerns me, but I do understand, like, the bees were on someone's property, but these people might not have realized that the bee hives were stolen when they were placed on their property, but still, that needs to be tracked down, like, hey, where did you get these beehives from? Who gave them to you? Are you aware that they're stolen? Because that is concerning. Volunteers return hives from 90 miles away. Allison Davis, whose company, Noble Nectar Prairies, returned the bees. It emailed the day after Marquette's story aired, offering to help him. Originally, we reached out because some of us beekeepers in Pinellas County, we wanted to kind of take up a collection of equipment and bees to just kind of donate bees back to Richard so he could get back on his feet, Davis said. That's very, very kind of you, Miss Allison Davis. After the offer was passed along, Davis received a call from someone associated with Dinnick, asking her to serve as an intermediary to return the bees to Marquette with no questions asked. So this associate of Dinnick's probably saw the thing and went, oh, Dinnick fucked up, but Dinnick didn't contact me to clear up the fuck up, so now I find out about the fuck up, and now I look like an asshat. That's probably what happened, and I'm not surprised if it did. But good job on this associate. They probably are afraid to come forward because, well, they're an associate of Dinnick. They know them in some way or form. And they know Dinnick's probably catching a lot of heat, and they don't want to also catch a lot of heat, which is fair. So I'm glad that they had a conscience and went, these need to be returned. I was unaware of this, or I might have been aware, but I wasn't aware how bad it was, and I just don't want to get in any more trouble than I might get into. So yeah. It was just by some random miracle, Davis said. God performs miracles every day. I know that for sure, Marquette replied. So this is a photo of the volunteers returning the missing beehives. This is that flatbed truck they had them on. So this is 1 hive, 2 hive, 3 hive, 4. And there's 14 of these. They're pretty heavy. Dinnick's lawyer said his client would be willing to do an interview if his name wasn't used and his face wasn't shown, but we declined since he was named in the police report and previous story. That's my medication. But I'm like, sir, this man's name is already out there. Just because we don't know, like, your face, but, like, when I posted talking about this story, someone posted, the wife's, like, a screenshot of the wife's TikTok, or who they believe to be the wife's TikTok, in my comment section. So, I don't know for sure if that's her, or if that's him. But Mr. Dinnick, your name is already out there. And people might not find Joseph Dinnick, Joseph Dinnick, but they'll find every Joseph Dinnick of Citrus County, or at least who owns land in Citrus County, because apparently from Reddit stories I've read and listened to, unless you bought your property under like an LLC or something, you can find out who owns property. So like they'll track down who you are, find your picture, find your face. And so, like, you saying, like, so long as your face... Like, I get, like, your face and your voice not being shown. That's fine. But your name's already out there. It's in the police report. It's out there everywhere. He sent multiple text messages admitting his mistake led to Marquette's situation. Dinnick wrote in one text message, I'm actually in communication with the beekeepers. I got them all set up with addresses and was able to retrieve the locations, which... by the way, needs to be discreet. It was the only way I could get consent. I hope you believe that this was hard for me to get this info. You're the one who took these bees, and you couldn't call, like, your friend and being like, hey, we thought this property was abandoned and that this property was actually mine, but there was a miscommunication. Those bees you took, I need to return them to this man. Like, there's no discreet needing. The fact that you're trying to be kind of discreet or sneaky and kind of like, oh, I only want to go the legal route instead of making it right day one. You're suspicious. You're the jerk here. You need to take accountability and realize it was my bad. I was the bad person here. And I'm trying to contact all these people. But you want to move like molasses, like July. It's November. Thanksgiving's next week. And you took this man's livelihood for July, August, September, October, November. That's 4 months. You took this man's livelihood from him. So no. You trying to be discreet just makes you look more suspicious, my good sir. We shared a text message from Dinnick with Marquette, in which he said he wasn't good in front of cameras, but wanted to give his apologies to Marquette and his family, calling it an honest mistake, saying he was sorry from the bottom of his heart. Sir, Mr. Dinnick, it was an honest mistake. at first, but your actions led it to being malicious and horrible and made you just look like the biggest jerk within the county at the moment. Like, you're not the biggest jerk or asshole in the world. It's very hard to be that. I mean, we got a Nazi in office. But you right now, you're in the wrong. You're the bad person. And we can see you. And I hope that you take this and learn that if you fuck up, you need to take that responsibility and not try to hide behind your lawyer or hide away. You need to take responsibility and do the right thing. Or at least even attempt to do the right thing. And do it publicly. Because right now, your actions, they're saying you're a bad person. They're saying you're a horrible person. They're saying not a lot of people are going to like you. And that's just the truth. And now your name and your word and every word out of your mouth is going to be scrutinized and viewed as, is he really sorry? Is he really remorseful? Does he mean what he says? Is his word worth the salt on the earth? Is his word worth anything? Because at this moment, your word isn't really worth much because of the actions and the fact of this amount of time that it's taken you, and the fact that it had to get viral to where the artist and writer all the way in Georgia had to hear about it and is now reading articles on it for the internet. And I'm not the only one. Miss Allison Davison, she's apparently from a northern state. Is she not? I don't remember. She's got a company. No, I think Miss Allison Davis is in Florida as well. But there were volunteers. They came down from another state. I just read it. I can't find the right paragraph it's in. But you look bad, Mr. Dinnick. And I think you need to figure out what PR is. Let me drink some of my water. I'm very thirsty. Dinnick's appeal to us to not identify him stemmed from negative comments and threat he says he received on social media after our story. Sir, your name is already out there, and I'm pretty sure Florida has really good laws that allows anyone to go, hey, you closed this case? Can I get the paperwork for it? Florida makes that real easy. That's why we got all these Florida man headlines. Because that crazy shit happens all over the country. It's just the laws in each country, like right to press or whatever, we can find out those things a lot easier in Florida than we can in like New York, Georgia, California. So I'm like, you did something bad. You did not act to correct it. It took damn near 4 months for you to correct it. And once the story went live and the internet's forever, baby. We have your name. We know what county you in. They will find you. Did you not watch the documentary called Don't Fuck with Cats on Netflix? Internet sleuths, they will take a screenshot or anything and be like, okay, from this window, we have it in this side. This is the skyline we had. And they'll get on Google Earth and look for that damn skyline. And be like, okay, we have these buildings and these buildings. They're here or within this area based off the weather, time, and all the buildings. Because each city's building's a little different. So yeah, of course you were going to get a bunch of negative feedback and backlash. You stole an 84-year-old man's livelihood. You stole from an 84-year-old grandpa. You're not like Dinnick. Marquette said he gave Dinnick the opportunity to meet in person to work things out, but Dinnick never showed up and later called to say he didn't need to because it was no big deal. Dinnick, remember how I said your actions speak louder than words? However, certain words, phrases, and cadences look real bad, Mr. Dinnick. You stole a man's livelihood. You stole a grandfather's livelihood, a little old man, 84. This man is 2 decades off from being a century old, and you stole his livelihood, Mr. Dinnick. You look like shit right now. You look like shit. You look like shit. You sound like shit. Your actions say you are garbage. That is what you are. Not the shit. You're not the best thing ever. You look like you are a piece of dog turd that we all walk around trying to fucking avoid. No wonder nobody on social media likes you right now. The interwebs are not your fans. We don't like you whatsoever. Marquette is thankful Dinnick arranged for the return of most of his bees. Note, there are still 6 beehives missing. Just gonna bring that note up front. But Mr. Marquette is happy that at least most were returned. I think they want to do the right thing in the end, even if it took a while to get to that point, Allison Davis said. And it's because he realized the backlash was coming at him. And he's just like, okay, just return the bees. It is a big deal now, and I was not prepared for it to be a big deal. Marquette thanks volunteers with homemade cookies. She and her team spent about 8 hours retrieving the hives, driving them to Citrus County, setting them up, and driving home. Marquette didn't have much to offer them in return except homemade cookies baked by his wife of 63 years. Marquette said the worst thing that happened to him in recent months, in some ways, turned out to be the best. And I think it's so sweet his wife was like, here, have some cookies. Like, I made some cookies for them. You take it there for them. That's super sweet. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you having your crew and getting the bees back. It about brings tears to my eyes, Marquette said. Like, look at how happy he is. He's given Miss Davis, one of the volunteers, the homemade cookies, and she's like, all right, let me give this sweet old man a hug. His wife made cookies for them because they brought home some of their bees. You would just hope somebody would do that same for us, Davis replied. The Florida bee inspector is scheduled to visit Marquette's hives in the coming days to make sure they haven't been damaged by disease or mites. And fingers crossed, hopes, prayers, whatever it is, light your witchy candles so that these bees are safe and will be safe whichever way you want to do it. Hopefully they are safe, they are healthy. And I'm glad that they have been returned to Mr. Marquette. Marquette is taking legal action against Dinnick for the still missing hives and loss of revenues, as he should. Yes, Mr. Marquette, do not drop those charges. I know you were a kind, sweet man, and you were probably very forgiving. And had Mr. Dinnick returned all those hives for you at once and just apologized and maybe paid a little bit for damaging your land, you would have forgiven him. Had he just not stolen your shit. But whatever. His attorney, Miss Andy Lyons, says he is in contact with a detective from the Citrus County Sheriff's Office regarding the hives. Marquette says are still missing. So they are still looking for the missing hives, and that is all that is within this article. I'm going to pull up the fundraiser. This is the GoFundMe. It says, help Richard Marquette rebuild his apiary. I might be pronouncing that wrong. We have $10,460 raised. It was a 10K goal. And this is set up by Andy Lyons for Mr. Marquette. I'm going to fix my... my thingy so that we can read. And you guys can read along with. Because this is the GoFundMe. I will link this in the description below. 84-year-old man loses his livelihood when his entire beekeeping operation was wiped out in a day. The next-door neighbor who was clearing his land says he mistakenly cleared Richard Marquette's land instead and cut all the trees down and removed over 20 active honey-producing beehives from Richard Marquette's land. The neighbor won't return the bees, and that was over 90 days ago. Richard lives off the income he gets, selling the honey his bees make at $20 per pint of honey, but lost it all when his entire apiary was taken away over 3 months ago. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Pronunciation, thank you. Apiary. 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 Okay, that's how it's pronounced. He has nothing else and sells the honey roadside just so he and his wife can survive. So this man sets up, like, you know how in we don't have them very often, at least not here in Georgia. You remember how in like shows and cartoons you would set up like a little stand, the kids would, and essentially they would sell like lemonade or whatever on a stand. That's what Mr. Marquette does with his honey. He sets up like a little stand table and sells his honey there on the side of the road, probably near a gas station, probably during a couple of, we've got a couple of different like festivals and stuff that like some farmers come to, like in our area, and specifically the Old Town area. So that's how this man makes his money. His family has kept bees for generations, and now he lost it all and has no source of income anymore. I am his lawyer, Andy Lyons, working pro bono and trying to do everything I can from a civil standpoint to help. I will make sure that 100% of funds raised here go directly to Richard Marquette. Please help. He needs it badly. Thank you. So, yes. Are there any... It doesn't see... This was created 6 days ago, so that's good. But we've got words of support from people. 12-year beekeeper here. I hope what little I could donate helps you to enjoy your well-earned retirement doing what you love. Sorry you had to go through this, by Kyle Foster. You are amazing. I saw the news about this and was furious. How can anyone treat the elderly like this? Sending encouragement from Canada, by Yan Lee. And a lot of these were simply that. There are no updates as of this moment. That's the original video. Photo of him in his beekeeper suit. But I am happy that there is a GoFundMe. It is above goal. If you are able to donate, please donate. If you are not, that's fine. Share it around. That is my plan. And yeah, this is the story of this sweet little old man. This is an update to it. 14 of the 20 hives are returned. 6 are still missing. Lawsuit is still pending. I'm hoping he does not drop it, even if the other 6 are returned. Everyone, Richard Marquette. So remember to stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated. Next week is Thanksgiving. I'm going to try to record a whole bunch today and tonight to just have a video for every single day. So let me know if there's anything you want me to read or whatnot, and I shall read that. Thank you. Bye-bye.